I'll call the park board meeting to order. And I think to start out with, it would help with introductions, since we have so many new people on the park board. It's fantastic to have a full park board again. So I'm Pat Casanova. I'm a local indigenous kid, grew up here. Why don't we start down?
Oh, sure. I'm Karen Nessett. I think I've been on the board now for 2 years,
Yeah.
and I live on 3rd Street and have been in Hudson for 25 years.
I'm Mike Kennedy. I've also been on the board for, 3 or 4 years, I guess. And actually, I'm the city council representative on the board. I lived in Hudson for 25-ish years. And my favorite, no, I don't have a favorite. My favorite park is Lakefront Park.
I'm Karen Stankovitz, and I've been on the board, I guess, 3 years now, which shocked me. I didn't think it was that long. I've lived in Hudson for 22 years.
So I'm Mike Mraz, the Director of Public Works. I've been in Hudson in this position for almost 4 years now. And so, look forward to working with you guys.
I'm Tori Boomsma. I'm new, and I have lived in Hudson also for about, as an adult, for about 20 plus years, and I was here when I was little. I was a 4th Street Elementary child, which is no longer there. And I also live on 3rd Street, so I'm just excited to be here, so thank you.
I'm Don Buckholt, kind of a newcomer to Hudson, only been here about 47 years. We moved up here temporarily, but the town grew on us. My wife and I have been married 50 years. We live up on Croy Crest Drive, and lived on 11th Street before that. Owned a local movie theater down on 2nd Street there, and had an insurance agency as well. So Pat and I, we've known each other, 45 years?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I appreciate being on the board and working with all of you.
I want to say thank you to all you guys for volunteering to be on the park board. And I think as a community, we're really lucky to have the parks that we do in this town. And we try and do our best with the budgets and that we have, and to try and look to the future and anticipate and plan for what the community is going to need as it goes forward. So I think, I guess I kind of look at it, we're to keep it nice for the people who already live here, and try and enhance it where we can and do the best we can. So that being said, we'll move into our agenda items. Any comments or suggestions from anyone before we begin? If not, first item we've got was the Little Free Library to go up in Prospect Park. Mike, do you want to?
Yeah, so I had received a request for the Little Free Library, and
There's one prepared right now, sorry.
let's bring it up real quick. They're proposing to put it at the top of the steps that lead from kind of the upper part of Prospect Park down to the lower part. All of the materials would be provided by the applicant. And so I invited her here tonight to come and present, but was unable to make it. But you kind of get an idea of the location. What I would basically suggest is, or recommend, is if it's approved, to basically encompass that entire area in concrete, so that we're not having like a 2-foot swath of grass where we're always having to go in there and weed whip, trying to lessen the maintenance over a long period of time. So other than that, I don't foresee any problems with this being at that site.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
I moved it, so.
I'll second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion necessary? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next item we have is, our presenters are here for, is for the Castle Coffee.
Do you know if these TVs are supposed to be on?
Yeah, they will.
As soon as they
It will
plug
when
it
you
in.
plug in.
There you go.
Yep, we got it.
This is great.
Okay, yeah, so first of all, we're here to present Castle Coffee. We want to start by thanking you all for all the wonderful work you do. You guys do a fantastic job, like running and doing everything for the parks. And we just want to say we've grown up here and in Hudson, and we really want to say that you guys do a really good job, and we really like all the parks. So, yeah, thank you guys.
We're really excited to share with you our idea for the proposal called Castle Coffee. And we do want this to be more of like a discussion-based presentation rather than us just saying something. So please, if you have comments, feedback, or any questions, just chime in when you need to. Here's the content that we'll be going through today with our proposal.
So basically our team, it might look a little different if you got the printed copy. It's basically me and Blake. So I'm Alex. I'll be attending UW La Crosse in the fall and majoring in finance.
And my name is Blake. I'll be attending University of Southern California and double majoring in business and public relations. Castle Coffee, yeah.
What happened to Emma?
To Emma, she didn't want to work as much with us on the project, but if we do like get farther steps, we will bring her on for some more creative design work.
Yeah. So she's really good at marketing.
Yeah.
Press gentlemen, can you talk into the microphone, please, so people at home can hear you?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
There we go. Is that better?
There you go.
Here, take a step.
Good.
Here, step forward. Yeah, so Emma will be brought on later with some graphic design work, but she was not going to be helping like as much with all the finer details and logistics. So
Or operations?
yeah. So Castle Coffee, this idea stemmed from the following reasons. First, really just to bring together the community, because we, as Alex said, we've grown up here our whole lives. Hudson's like a special place for us, and we saw an opportunity to bring together this community at Grandview Park, the location for this idea. And also, in addition to that, it will be a convenient drink to complement the full experience and really tie together that experience at Grandview Park and improve it as a whole, because it'll be both friendly for dogs and for children, that their adults can have like a seamless experience with us.
So we kind of explained the why we wanted to do it, but now we want to explain like the how. So we want to serve high quality coffee, and to do that we have Peace Coffee. We're really big fans. They're organic and they're super awesome. We want to make sure that we're people oriented, so we want to provide a fantastic experience for the people and make sure that we really care about them and are listening to what like feedback they have and different things that they might recommend that we could change about our business. And then we also want to offer like community events. We have a ton of different ideas for things that we can do to really bring together the community and kind of provide an awesome experience for everyone involved. So kind of explaining what we are, we want to be a homey kind of small scale coffee shop, pet friendly. The dog park is right next to our location, so we want to encourage those people to come in and purchase things from us. And then we plan on having like dog treats and different dog accessories to cater towards these people. So we want to have this temporarily open during the summer months, specifically June 20th to August 28th. The reason we have this like time period is because both of us have to go off to college in the fall, so we're not going to be here to run it, but we really look forward to potentially opening this in the summer.
And then here again is that location for this idea. This is right in the center of Grandview Park with great access to the Castle Park, the baseball fields, and the dog park, which has been growing in popularity like crazy. It's a storage building right in the middle with bathrooms and water and electricity, but it's not really being used for much right now except for storage. So we saw that there's lots of potential to use this building to its full use and provide the people who would go to Grandview Park with something great.
So we wanted to talk about kind of the SWOT analysis. So starting off with the strengths, it would be the location. It's in a fantastic location, really perfect for what we want to do with it. Another strength would be kind of our brand image. We want to kind of be, again, people oriented, give people a sense of kind of belonging, give people a really great experience, and then enhance kind of their experience going to the park. So another kind of strength we have is both of us have a lot of time. So this summer we plan on working full time here, and we'll be able to put in the necessary amount of like hours and the necessary amount of work that will be required to successfully start this. Another strength would be pet friendly. A lot of people in the area do not allow pets. kind of into their places. So we want that to be kind of a big draw to really bring dog park users in. And then another big strength is it's convenient. It is literally right next to Castle Park, and then in between kind of the baseball fields and the dog park. So it's a really awesome way for people to kind of have a convenient spot to go to get drinks and potentially food and other things for their pets.
Castle Coffee offers for some great opportunities. One of them that we were talking about before, and we'll elaborate on farther, is the community events. And then another thing with being so close to the dog park, we want to sell different dog treats and dog products to make that visit to Castle Coffee more enticing for the customer. And with us being younger kids, we have a lot of experience with social media, so this comes in a big opportunity for marketing and different advertising. So people are not just visiting Castle Coffee more, but also visiting Grandview Park in its entirety more. Also, with different opportunities, we have some prospective employees. Like before, when we were talking about the girl Emma Hatch on your printed version for creative design work, but then also we know 2 baristas who have 2+ years of experience. So they have some great drink making skills and are willing to work with us on that. And then also there's a lot of opportunities for business partnerships with the small businesses of Hudson. We've been in contact with Kay from Grand Fete, and she has helped us with some equipment choices for espresso making machines, and also getting us in contact with some other small businesses that like produce baked goods. And with the different like community events we were talking about, there will be some more potential business partnerships to endorse their business and then also endorse Castle Coffee in return.
So obviously with this comes some weaknesses of ours. So a big weakness is kind of limited experience, obviously. So kind of addressing this, both of us are in a business club at the high school, or we were before we graduated, called DECA. So we ran this club. We were responsible for managing teams, organizing events, kind of growing the chapter and getting people excited and involved. So we think that these skills will be very beneficial, and through the things we learned in DECA and running and organizing and doing all these things, we will have a good kind of good background to give us a good shot at starting this business and making it successful. Another weakness we have is funding. So we have been saving money for this business, but there might be some unexpected costs that we haven't taken into account. So funding is kind of where we might be lacking.
And then some threats to the business is close competition with Buddy's Bakery being nearby, who sells coffee. And they do not have very much specialty in coffee, but they do sell some espresso and coffee. But they are not pet friendly like we would be, and they are not as convenient to the people who go to Grandview Park. And then another potential threat is the power capacity of the building. We're not sure how much water and electricity it can produce. So that's where working with you guys will be a great benefit to get some more of those finer details.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk about kind of our target customers and who we're kind of catering towards. So basically, the main customers of ours will be parents and then pet owners. Parents, they have kids. The pet owners have dogs. So there will be additional things that we can sell. Ages 25 to 40, salary around $60,000. So we want to like market towards these people because they have disposable income. They have children. They have dogs. They have things that they spend money on. We calculated that around the average would be $8, all things considered. So this is kind of really, to understand this is important because we want to make sure that we can get as many people as possible enjoying our services.
Here's some more on the community benefits. So one thing that we are considering with Castle Coffee is having a certain amount of profit go back into Grandview Park to continually improve the park and keep making it as best of a park it can be. And then also with the baseball concessions that are nearby, are very open, and we will work diligently with the concessions there so that we're not interfering with the baseball games and their businesses. And by doing that, we'll be closed in operation. When the baseball stands in operation, Castle Coffee would be closed. And then on top of being closed, we'd have posters and signs to direct them to the baseball concessions. So they're getting some advertisement towards those baseball concessions. And then with the events mentioned before, these are really just to give back to the community and then offer some deals at Castle Coffee.
So some of the event ideas that we had, we kind of brainstormed some things like dog washes, car washes, different raffle events, giveaways. You can win things like gift cards, half off coupons, a ton of stuff we could do. There's a ton of potential for that area, and we really want to take advantage and do these events to really bring the community together and then kind of offer that additional sense of kind of community bonding and another thing to do at the park.
And then some of the rewards from these different events range anywhere from half off drinks for a week or free drinks from us. And then we'd also be giving back to the community with these raffles and giveaways while working with other local businesses to support them.
So some of the logistics, this is kind of just a rough outline of what our menu would look like. We wanted to keep it straightforward and convenient, kind of make it not super hard to understand for our customers. We wanted to make it like this also so we have room to grow, add different menu items, and do different things in the future if there's a demand for it. So we're gonna have this menu, and then we'll have like dog treats or different dog things at the register for people to purchase for pet owners. And with every purchase that a pet owner will have, we hope to give them a free treat to incentivize them to come back.
And then here are some of the main products that we looked into for the ingredients for these drinks. The big ones will be coffee, espresso, and cold brew. Our coffee and espresso, we plan on purchasing Peace Coffee, which is organic fair trade coffee that is of very high quality. This does come at some more expensive of a cost, but we want to deliver some high quality drinks to our customers, so this would be our product of choice. And then with the cold brew, we decided to go something more affordable and convenient by buying through Java House cold brew coffee in bulk from Sam's Club.
So these are some of the other products we're going to plan on offering. So hot chocolate, some different Castle coolers, we call them. So like things like water, Coke, Bai, bubblers, and then again the dog treats, which are free with purchase.
Here's our schedule as of now that we plan to have. On weekdays, we plan on being open from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. every weekday. And then on weekends, being closed a little early from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. And like we said before, we would aim as a goal to be open from June 20th to August 28th. And these hours will all be up for change based on the popular times of the day to go and based on other like research and development, looking into how popular the dog park is at certain times and when we're selling the most. And then here are the closed dates for the Castle Coffee, where Alex and I will be out of town July 12th through the 18th.
So kind of into the money aspect of things, we calculated it would cost us about $10,000 total. We have that cash on hand saved up over the years. And then that money comes from basically all the different things added up. So we have, again, $10,000 initial investment, and then $550 set aside for marketing and then a website. And then another 25% or so will be reevaluated. So every couple weeks, we'll figure out if marketing needs more or if other things potentially need more money to kind of continually improve our business. And then also that money is set aside just in case something goes wrong, we need repairs, different things like that that could potentially happen.
Here's the different equipment we looked at, again with Kay from that owns Grand Fete, small business downtown. We worked with her on some of the different types of equipment we could use. And through all the estimated prices, it comes to around $3,000, but with the taxes and shipping and potential things that gone wrong, we have $4,000 set aside for equipment.
So kind of liability, we obviously want to address this. We're going to do our best to make sure everybody's safe, make sure nothing happens to anybody. But in the event that something happens, we want to make sure that everything is taken care of. So that's kind of where we want to extend it to you guys, hear what you guys have to say. Any worries or concerns that you guys might have that we could help address.
And
yeah,
that's about it. That's it. Just there's now up for discussion on questions from you guys and then probably some questions from us too. Yes, Mr. Mules.
Have you looked into licensing and permits? And
No, we
costs?
haven't. That's where we wanted to work with you guys on like decide on figuring out how to get like the actual licensing and the actual permits.
Yeah. So we've looked into some permits, like business permits and things like that, but we weren't certain like what you guys would say. So we wanted to make sure that we get it approved and then start looking into things like that.
And then what are your estimated dollar volume estimates daily sales?
That's a great question. So we're not 100% sure at the moment. So again, we have the $8 kind of average cost, but we're not 100% sure if like the time we're open in the summer is enough to get people aware like of our brand. So it's going to fluctuate a lot depending on the day, I'm sure, and it's going to be kind of a process to get us started and get us kind of out there to people and seeing or having people see kind of our business. So we tried to figure it out, but it was kind of really variable. So we're not 100% sure at the moment. But we would like to get back to you. If this becomes a reality, we will get back to you.
Yes.
Any other, go ahead. No.
What are the plans after you close at the end of August and go off to school? What happens to all your equipment? Are you for sure coming back?
Yeah.
So we'd plan on keeping the equipment with ourselves, and then during like the winter, fall, and spring months, it would be it wouldn't be in operation, and it'd go back to being that storage building. And we'd also make sure to like work diligently by cleaning it, getting all our stuff out of there, and then like taking down posters and stuff. And there wouldn't be any permanent changes done to the building, so we'd have it prepared so that we could take it off for when we leave. And then the next following summer, we would plan on coming back and continuing this. Yeah.
And have you looked into insurance and liability?
Yeah, so that's actually kind of what we wanted to ask you guys about. We weren't 100% sure if you guys have a certain insurance company or a certain liability, like things that we have to have. We wanted to figure out kind of like the requirements for this kind of scenario.
I'll jump in on that. So a couple things in the ordinances for selling within the city of Hudson. So first thing is the city clerk would need to issue a valid seller's permit. Okay, so that goes through the clerk's office. And as part of that permit, you're going to be required to do or provide a whole bunch of different documents, including driver's license, Wisconsin Department of Revenue permit, proof of liability insurance, satisfactory with the city, so you have to go out and get your own liability insurance. Let's see here. Any applicable health and occupational safety permitting through the St. Croix County Health Department would have to be approved for it. So it's under ordinance, write this down. 124, chapter 124 of the city code. It's direct sellers, transient merchants, and solicitors. And then furthermore, chapter 181 has more information on direct selling in city parks, on what you'll need to acquire.
Okay.
So that was chapter 124 and 181?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
What are you looking for from the city for this venture?
We're mostly looking for permission, and then if a payment is required to loan out the building that's being used. And then also to work with them to get those licenses, like the health license and the ability to sell food from there.
So, great presentation, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Quick question, kind of maybe towards Mike. What comes to mind is when we've leased out the beach house.
Yep.
I don't know what similarities we have with that facility, physically the facility there. Based on, I know the dog park's a huge part of that, so we can't just move them around. But is that building set up similarly, or do you see the city having a lot of
Go ahead.
changes to make in that, or?
That's one of the first and probably the biggest issue that exists, and that is, excuse me, the building wasn't designed to have a facility within it that was there, so we don't have the plumbing and the sewer and all that into it that would have to go with it. Had we wanted to do that, we would have designed a building that had those kind of facilities with it. The other part of the conundrum is, with something like that, we have to put it out for an RFP, meaning we have to put it out as a request for proposal that anyone can come forward and say they would like to do something in that space, but the space really isn't available to do that within. I really applaud your entrepreneurship of wanting to do something.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And I think Mike even mentioned to you the bathhouse is all set up
Yeah.
to do that.
That
already.
is definitely like an awesome opportunity that we honestly just never thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that we planned for this can be directly applied to the
Absolutely.
bathhouse.
And, you know, everything in terms of sanitary and enough electricity and water and,
There's a sink there, there's a wash station, so a lot of, it's set up to meet what the health department is gonna require you to have to operate a concession stand or concession system, right? Whereas up at Grandview Park, like Pat said, it was designed for basically storage, just, you know, of materials, drags, lime. I think the only water supply that we have in there is a 1.5-inch fire hose nozzle to flood a skating rink in the wintertime. So there's really no hot water going into that room. Heck, there's no, you know, just normal plumbing for
Right, yeah.
for a sink that which the health department is going to require you to have
Yeah.
to operate out of. So, like I said, great presentation and everything like that, but I think there's some hurdles out at that site where down at the Lakefront Park, like I said,
you'd be in.
it's already set up for,
Yeah.
and we go through a process where in the past we had RFPs open for people to come in and serve out of there, and it's basically $50 a month to lease that space, and you have to supply all the necessary permits, you know, that you need to acquire through the health department and the clerk's office, and then you're able to go in there and utilize it. And we have an agreement that we go through, and it comes through Park Board and goes through council for approval, so on and so forth. But yeah, I'll leave that open to you guys how you want to pursue that.
Is the lakefront or beach property there, is that open now and open for bid or what?
So right now it's closed because of the construction, you know, with the
Right,
roof
yeah.
going back on, but we anticipate that facility being back operational by booster days, so within the next 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, is there some entity that is planning to be in there?
No, we've gone out to RFP, a number of times since I've been here, and we've had only one person that has occupied that space since my time here, and they only lasted a year, and then they decided not to renew anything. But you know, if there's an entity that would be wanting to go in there, I think we would entertain that without going through the RFP process, just because there really hasn't been a lot of interest in that site since I've been here. And the main part, and Pat, you could probably speak to this, one of the main reasons that we like to have someone down there is to just have eyes on the facility. Graffiti, vandalism, it's just nice to have a presence down there, right? So that's one of the reasons why we steer, you know, concessionaires or people that want to sell in that direction. Because it helps us, it helps them, so on and so forth.
I just want to say, we would definitely be interested in
Good.
kind of retrofitting this idea towards the bathhouse. If anything, that might be the better location for this, because like you mentioned, Mr. Casanova, like the popularity of there during the summer, and then just like how many people are there, it would offer, a lot of the same things could be switched right over to
Yes.
Lakefront Park.
Yeah.
We do lakefront promotions. If, you know, the festivals and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I applaud your effort
Yeah.
Thank you.
and your desire to want to do this. That's fantastic.
Yeah. What action could we take to adjust it towards that lakefront location?
Well, one question that I had is how long of a commitment, or how long are you in this for? Is it just this summer? Is it this summer, next summer? Is it the next 3 summers? Is it?
All 4 years of college?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
it?
I mean,
So-
what's your vision there?
Our vision kind of is to come back every summer and then run it. So we want to kind of set ourselves up to be able to do that. We think that'd be fantastic, and it'd be really good for kind of learning and kind of figuring out what we did wrong last summer, and then kind of improving it.
Okay.
And then past that point, I guess we'll reevaluate.
That's good to hear, because I don't want to have you go through all the work of requiring all the proper, permitting, and you do it for one summer. I mean, it's not worth it to you guys to do it that
We
way.
have a 4-year plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And utilize that for projects in school as well.
Yeah, and we also have friends that are younger than us that we'd work with them to be able to pass this on to, and even other like community members that we could stay in contact with.
Yeah.
And as, excuse me, and as part of the contract, you have the exclusive right to be able to sell out of a push cart down at the end of the dike to sell cold drinks or whatever you have for your items anywhere in the park. But your headquarters is that building, so
That's nice.
And that comes with the RFP.
that comes with the contract that the city has.
agreement.
So that's already part of the deal.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
So your next steps are going to be to contact the city clerk
Okay.
and see what registration and permitting you need to sell within the city of Hudson. You're going to need to contact the St. Croix County Health Department to see what their requirements are. And you're going to have to investigate your liability insurance, because you'll have to have proof of liability insurance in order to get the seller's permit within the city. So that might kind of dictate if you move forward or not.
Okay.
So, but I think for the most, I think the park board is in general consensus that this is a good idea down there at Lakefront Park, and they would probably support something moving forward.
Or even if you don't move forward this summer, you have everything lined up to, once you get back from school next year, to
Yeah, to
put
go.
into gear at that point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, grow into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll take you some time to get all the permitting through, because it has to go through a process, obviously, and it might not be a lot of summer left over by the time that's done.
Okay. Great. Thank you all so much for letting us
you.
Hey,
propose this to
thank
you.
you.
Fabulous, guys.
Nice
Great job.
All right.
Yeah, if we can help, let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? All good?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll play my old card. I was remiss in not having us approve the minutes of the last meeting. Yeah. They were included in the packet. Did anyone notice any changes or corrections or omissions that should be corrected? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Just one of those senior moments. Get to play that card now and then. Yeah. We have the memorial. Yep. That has been brought for us at the tree planting.
Yep, so this is discussion and possible action to approve the memorial up in Burkmost Park.
Oh, you can read that.
Just going through the proper procedures with any memorial application that the city receives. Nikki Brooks put forward an application to plant a tree in honor of Craig Mitchell, and they're looking to plant a tree up in Burkmost Park under location yet to be determined. I would approve it as staff to make sure that it's not planted in a not good location. And so basically, the plaque would read in memory of Craig Mitchell, beloved father, GPA, and friend. So just looking for formal approval from the park board. This would go in front of Common Council for final approval.
Craig was a really nice guy. I'm sorry, really nice guy. Grew up down on First Street. I mean, really a super individual.
I was just wondering, this has been something that's been available for how many years in Hudson? This type of memorial?
Oh, God, forever we've been doing memorials, but we tightened it up 3 years ago. It was shortly after you came.
Yep.
And how did you tighten it up?
We tightened it up in that we have control of what goes in the parks and where, to that extent. So we can only have so many benches, let's say in Lakefront, but so the city staff maintains a list of things, a wants list for each of the parks. So if somebody wanted a larger donation, they could take something off that list. Trees we're always looking for, kind of thing. But we've discovered that people were putting in their own memorials. You know. And so we just wanted to, as one of the council members said it once, we don't want Lakefront Park or Prospect or Burkmost to turn into a cemetery. But they all have needs that can be expressed in that same fashion.
And depending upon the memorial that's being applied for will dictate which committee it goes in front of. So a tree in a park would come to this committee first, but if it's a larger statue memorial, that would go in front of park board, in front of planning commission, in front of council, a lot of eyes on it just to make sure that it is appropriate and that it is, something that, the city of Hudson should be memorializing, so.
So there's a search committee that does this, and they
Yeah.
look into the background,
Yeah.
what, where, why, when, and how.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, due diligence, very good.
Yep.
Good.
Oh, good questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we've got our pet ordinance that Mike has identified some areas that need to be changed for the leash and off-leash sections as it relates to Grandview Park, currently not in compliance to our
Yeah.
language.
So the current ordinance 181-9 states that no person shall bring any unleashed pet into any park or playground. Length of leash is limited to 10 feet. No person shall bring any leashed pet into, I should say unleashed.
I was going to say.
No person should bring any unleashed pet into Grandview Community Park or any other park as designated by the Common Council and posted with appropriate signage. So obviously with the dog parks in Grandview Park, people are able to unleash their pets inside the dog parks. So we're just looking to update that language in the ordinance that exempts the dog parks from this language.
I do have one question. As far as leash length, 10 foot and all that, you've got 1,000 people out there with the retractable, and they can be 50 feet. And how would that be controlled?
No.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So you
You
could,
can change that language to.
Change the language to no retractable leases.
No, because people already got them. So that means you gotta turn around and send them home, and they're trying to do the right thing,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah,
So
you could just say leashed.
a leash capable of keeping the dog within 10 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is,
Right.
The
Could be
problem with
longer.
that is,
I could have a 20-foot training lead, but I've got it tied off at
At 10.
10 feet to handle.
there's two questions. One is why the concern to have a 10-foot leash, which may be, i.e., certain breeds of dogs are very frightening to people, and therefore there's some containment necessary for everyone's safety. And then the second question would be, do we want to dilute that? And I mean, it's really a quandary.
Memory has when we adopted that Tom Zulli had checked with the other communities around the valley, River Falls and Richmond, Stillwater, Woodbury, about what lengths, and 10 foot was kind of the average of tying to what leads are. And then I think we could easily change it to say a lead that's capable of restricting a dog to 10 feet.
But if it's only capable of restricting, let it out 50, who cares?
Well, we can't protect people from being stupid, and Darwinism does kick in, so.
I know.
I think that person who's got that retractable, their dog's on the lead, they're gonna respond to that. The bigger one I was gonna bring up is, do we need to have language in there saying that you have to hold on to the other end?
Or,
Because I've seen arguments on the dike between people where my dog, not me, but the person saying my dog is on a leash. They just don't have a hold of the other end of it.
could we add the language on retractable leases to not extend beyond 10 feet? At least then it's in there, so that there's some enforceability if there's a problem that would arise in the future.
Has this always been in like this? And have we had problems? Has there been problems with it?
So I have not run into
Trackables, yeah.
a dog issue since I've been here in regards to this ordinance.
is the question just on whether or not, we just have the phrasing of leashing or unleashed dog in the dog park area? That's the question right now, right?
That's the
question
question in
right
front of
now,
us.
Or any leash shall not extend beyond 10 feet. That would
I
cover it.
think
That was
we're
already in there.
over managing.
Yeah, it's just
okay.
it's just within the dog
Yep.
park area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just
This is
only for
just
the
for the
dog
dog
park?
That's the only place
Yeah.
that's taken place that
Yeah.
is the issue.
This is just the dog park,
Yep.
leashed or unleashed, because right now it's saying that you
changing
have
the
to have your
language
dog
in
on
that
a
one
leash
spot on
in the
the-
dog park, which is incorrect. Your dog can be unleashed within the dog park only.
Okay. How did that even come about then? If the leash is not required?
So the dog parks were just installed, what, 4 or 5 years ago? Just before I got here, and this ordinance has probably been in ordinance for 15 years, and they just didn't update it when those dog parks went in.
And this only applies to the dog parks?
Right, so basically.
What we're saying
yeah.
today only applies to the dog park.
The
The
under-
addition,
Dealing
they
with
just
the
want to
dog
put
park
it,
to
yeah.
make it compliant with our language.
They just want to put in that extra language.
extra
The
unleashed.
other language is already in, it's been in there forever. It's just the extra language for those 2 dog parks.
Okay,
Because it is okay to have your dog off leash
In
in
the
the
dog
dog park.
right, but are we just talking about walking around the city?
No, we're talking
within
about the dog park.
only.
Oh, so,
We're only talking about the dog park.
okay,
That's okay to have your dog off leash inside the dog park is what
Right.
this specific motion is about. Or issue is about. Yep. So you want a motion to that effect? To make that change?
Yeah, absolutely.
A motion.
Okay, a second?
second.
Motion and seconded. Any further questions about it? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Great. And the other item we've got tonight is St. Croix County Sheriff's Department wants to have a life jacket stand down at the boat launch.
And they used to have one,
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
a couple years ago, yeah.
and they're the ones doing all the checking out on
this is coupled with the city ordinance.
the river, so when they find one of theirs,
Unleash.
Yep, right.
they find it, right?
Within the city.
Then they maintain
Does
it.
that
And they
10-foot
maintain
length
it,
apply to that? Okay,
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
donated some kids' stuff to it. I mean, it's a great concept, because,
Oh, yeah.
that was my whole point. This
Yeah, but that wasn't the topic.
I've had it happen where you didn't realize it blew
It's
out.
just, so that's another
right.
time.
Now I got a
One of the
kid
kids
in
blew out of the
yeah.
back of the boat while you're coming just down there. Yeah, well, I think it'd be used a lot.
So is this obviously tied into when they
It's a nice
reopen?
deal.
Yes.
They won't do it tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we need a motion to that
I'll make
effect.
a motion to approve
I'll
the
second. Oh, sorry.
life jacket loaner station.
Second that.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under old business, Mike, you want to take over on your capital improvement funds? And
Yeah,
the
so.
different solutions you
Yeah,
showed?
so for Don and Tori, the Common Council approved capital improvement money to install pickleball courts in 2022. And since then, the Hudson Pickleball Association has built courts down at the Y Camp.
Yep.
So there isn't a real pressing need in the community right now because a lot of the pickleball players are going down there to utilize those facilities. Oh,
I see them all the
you
time.
see them all the time. You probably hardly see them now.
And they still come up, and they open their little thing and they play pickleball.
Okay.
And I like them there because it keeps away the
Yes,
riffraff.
yes. And we still have 4 courts at that site.
Yes.
So that's good, and we still want to continue that, but
Yeah, see them maintained.
to the extent of what we were going to build, probably isn't, the priority isn't there, so we've been looking to reallocate those funds to a different project.
That project originally was going to go out at Grandview.
Right.
And our contribution towards it was the $40,000.
Okay.
And when that went to the Y, that need left, but we still have the money. So as a park board, we've been looking at where best to be able to move that now to utilize it since we have it.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking as long as those funds are still available, the parking up there becomes a quandary at the strangest times. We have a lot of youth that come over from Minnesota, and they'll park all around, and then they play basketball till wee hours. And the hours thing's another thing you address at another time. But I was under the impression that there was some proposal to have angled parking on River.
Yep, there was.
And that might be a good thing to go ahead with anyway, simply because future growth and use in that park and what might be future activities or whatever, that would provide a safety measure, because we have the crosswalks where we have little kids on Hazel Crest and more children on my street as well. And they cross to that park. And if that could be, that burden, traffic burden could be shifted into a park, designated parking area, it would be probably beneficial to the whole community.
I give up. You want to go through the things that you had, or?
Yeah, so
We're still talking about possible places where, yeah, we've got a planning commission in here at 6.
Yep, we'll wrap it up here within the next 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
10-minute clock is on. So the park board over the last several meetings have been looking at various projects that they'd like to reallocate those funds to. And at the last meeting, we kind of settled on beautifying the point up in Prospect Park, the overlook over the St. Croix River Valley. And, you know, in the CIP, there was like a wedding gazebo or some type of you know, spot for people to host weddings, because we do have a lot of weddings up there. And so I was directed to kind of put together just some photographs and kind of brainstorm as far as what it might look like up there, or what could potentially look like. So I put in the packet, you know, a couple different things that I found on the internet. The first photo is kind of what I'm talking about in Prospect Park. The second and third photos are more of like a concrete pad, which doesn't block the view of the St. Croix River Valley. And I think that was one of our concerns at our last meeting. And then obviously the last couple photos are more of your standard pergola shelter type systems where people could, you know, get married under, so on and so forth. So, you know, outside of what Don was suggesting, and maybe we were able to tackle, you know, a couple different projects if we're able, you know, if we do just the concrete, maybe we'd have some money remaining where we could do another project as well. So just looking for general consensus on what I should move forward with, which design, what element do you like? I'll go out and get some quotes, maybe do some quick designs we can bring back in July and then improve it at that time.
I personally like the first one. I like that very simple overlook.
I was gonna say, I agree. I like the idea of an overlook. I think a gazebo was just a little
Yeah, it feels like it's just gonna stick out, sort of.
and it's gonna get vandalized or something's gonna happen to it. And I just feel like that overlook would be really nice, and people like to walk to the edge of that anyway, as it is, and I think that would be a safer walk to the edge.
And then there's that third photo with the star.
Yeah.
And the stamped concrete.
Yep.
And that seems to have a better safety with the railing and all that, especially with kids up there.
Yeah.
And plus, that's a nice open venue. I've had some stamping concrete work done at my home.
Okay.
Where it's similar to that and very nice. And that simplistic. People who would choose to do outdoor wedding there in those venues, I actually attended a couple where they rented these wrought iron
Sure, they bring them in.
and they fold up and unfold, and they set them there, and they have
Yeah.
and this would, that third picture with that porch, that would be, looks like the least upkeep, and would be, you know, very flexible in its use.
I give you what you need?
Yeah, I mean, if I can
That seems to
certainly.
be consensus that it's not a gazebo or something like that.
Low profile. Some, you can use it for other things too. Maybe you just have a picnic there if nobody else is using it. Do you have setback? I kind of know that hill but I mean, we're not gonna be right on the edge.
No,
Do we have to be
it'll be
40
set.
feet back? Or
It'll probably be set back enough where we don't run into a problem in the future with any undermining or slope erosion where it, you know,
Okay.
would
As close
affect
as
the
we can get it.
structure. We'll get it as close as we can get it, but we definitely
Yeah.
want to keep it where it's, and we also have to take into account the cistern
Cistern.
underneath.
Yeah, it's hollow.
Underneath.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then the other thing we might want to take in is to make it large enough to be multi-use.
Sure.
So that all of a sudden we have this great venue, if it was just a little bigger.
Yeah.
So let's not be short-sighted.
Okay. Well, I'll move forward and get a couple of alternate quotes and designs. I'll speak to some concrete contractors and see what can't be done up there, and at least we'll have an idea of what the cost is that we're looking at, and go from there. And we'll bring it forward again at the July Park Board meeting.
Do you mind if I would work on you with that?
No, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Project updates.
Yeah, just a couple of them. Obviously, the boat launch. The contractor wasn't really able to do much over the last couple of weeks due to the high water. It has receded quite a bit. Actually, it's gone down probably 3 feet since 2 weeks ago. So he dropped off equipment today, and they're looking to start kind of setting the coffer dam tomorrow or Thursday. to start pulling up the boat launch and setting it. So it's probably, you know, obviously we were shooting for that July 1st opening to get it done before July 4th. It's going to be a tight squeeze to get it done now. So probably looking at a 1 or 2 week delay in that project, unfortunately. So it is what it is.
What it is.
Yeah. And then obviously the Lakefront Park Boardwalk, had an update on that. We are going through the process of seeing if we need to do a muscle survey and relocation. So we're speaking with the federal government right now, and they're going to determine whether or not, based upon how much land disturbance we're actually doing along that seawall, will dictate if we have to actually do that survey. So don't have much of an update. Once we kind of get that, whether we're exempt or we have to move forward, will kind of dictate the process moving forward. If we don't have to do it, we can start design, we can probably go out for bid, and we can probably start working on constructing it later on this fall. If we have to do the muscle survey, that'll probably delay the project until next summer, because we have to have time to relocate, you know, do the survey to see if there's any mussels there. If there are, have to do a relocation, so on and so forth. So that's the update on the boardwalk.
So is the city investigating some type of river walk like in some of the larger communities
Yep.
throughout the United States?
We're looking at one going in, plan to go in along the seawall.
Is there a master plan with venues along the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I can share that.
Yeah.
Pat actually had a great idea as far as like putting together just a binder of information for people that are new to the board, certain policies, you know, the lakefront vision study, so that, you know, you can have some of this background information. So I'll put that together.
Sailboat
after.
mooring policy,
Yeah.
all that stuff, so you've got it in
Yeah.
one source. And I also thought if we could, need be, we could post that to the park board website.
Yeah.
So that if somebody's looking for, you know, how do we go about, well, here's the policy in that for it.
So, great.
Anybody have anything for future agendas? Hearing none, is there a
Make a
motion?
motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.